All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Before we get started, I want to send all of you thank you for your tremendous support. People are slowly but surely finding out about who we are and what we do. They enjoy and respect the passion with which we speak. But as we always say here at Chin Check Sports Radio, we do this because we love it, as we are simply sharing our passions with you all as we continue to build our listening army to take over the world. We are your go-to on YouTube for Dallas Cowboys coverage throughout the NFL season, all Cowboys coverage throughout the year. The 2023 Dallas Cowboys Week 12 victory at home in a very tough battle against the Seattle Seahawks. Let's jump into our numbers here. Quarterback Dak Prescott, 29 of 41 attempts, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, 20 carries, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. C.D. Lamb, 12 catches, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. Jake Ferguson, 6 catches, 77 yards, 1 touchdown. Brandon Cooks, 4 catches, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. On the defensive side, Marquise Bell, 8 total tackles, 4 solo. Deron Bland, 6 total tackles, 5 solo with 1 interception. Donovan Wilson, 6 total tackles, 3 solo. Osa Odighizuwa, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. DeMarcus Lawrence, 6 total tackles, 2 solo. Big Jonathan Hankins, 4 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack. Damon Clark, 4 total tackles, 2 solo. Jordan Lewis, 3 total tackles, 3 solo. Jaron Curse, 3 total tackles, 2 solo. Dorrance Armstrong, 3 total tackles, 1 solo. Micah Parsons, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Stephon Gilmore, 1 total tackle. You know that at Chin Check Sports Radio, we do not gloss over wins, nor do we overreact to losses. So yes, the Cowboys won a game 41-35. The good was Dak Prescott played very well, getting 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. C.D. Lamb facing a very good secondary, and we're talking against guys the Tariq Woolens and Devin Witherspoons. DeCondre Diggs had an excellent game, as evidenced by the 12 catches. Jake Ferguson, while Cowboys fans are questioning whether they were right in letting Dalton Schultz go, we see that it's quite working out for us, and this kid had an attitude, made catches, hurling defenders, getting up in Seattle defenders' faces, really showing an attitude, a fire about himself, beat the great Jamal Adams on a touchdown pass, which was before, a couple plays before that. Him and Jamal Adams kind of got the jaw jacking a little bit, so definitely you want to see that kind of fire. Again, Tony Pollard ran okay. However, here's where we don't gloss over wins. The defense appeared to take the weekend off. Now here is where we have a problem. The Seattle Seahawks literally were wiped on the floor by the San Francisco 49ers. DK Metcalf couldn't do a damn thing against one QB. DK Metcalf had a career game. That's a problem. On the defensive side, again, the Cowboys allowing a bunch of deep passes, miscommunication on defense. On one of DK Metcalf's touchdown pass, I believe Stephon Gilmore and the safety collided with each other. On his first long touchdown reception, the safety was beat. Now Deron Bland. We mentioned on a previous broadcast, I'm sure if you all have been watching NFL news, Deron Bland has made the waves because he has played exceptionally well, even though we at Chin Check Sports Radio called it out first. But he's played very well. He set the NFL record by returning 5 interceptions in return for a touchdown. So, of course, getting a lot of publicity, eating the Thanksgiving John Madden turducken after the game against the Commanders. And he went out there and had his worst game, was getting lit up. But funny is, he had an interception that made up for some of his poor play, but he clearly did not play well. So again, we're not going to gloss over that. He did not play well at all. On the defensive side, again, we didn't see much of a pass rush. Now, Micah Parsons did get a huge quarterback hurry or pressure, whatever they call these things, on a huge fourth down that did end the game for the Cowboys. So the defense did make the play when it was necessary, but again, we're talking 35 points that the defense gave up. So again, wasn't one of their best performances. But again, we're going to be realistic. The Dallas Cowboys played 3 football games in 12 days. So now they get time to recover. Again, short turnaround. Playing on Sunday before Thanksgiving, then playing Thanksgiving, and then playing another game a week later. So now the Cowboys get a good 10 days rest, because rest indeed is what they're going to need. They need to be fit full pass, because if Deron Bland had a rough game against DK Metcalf, ladies and gentlemen, it does not get any easier against the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown. It does not get any easier with a Jalen Hurts who can keep plays alive. It does not get any easier against a pass rush who couldn't do anything against this Seattle offensive line, but San Francisco had their way with Seattle. But again, divisional opponent, so take it for what it's worth. But the defensive line, not really too pleased with the defensive performance, so the offense bailed them out. So you can take it for what it's worth. There are times where the offense hasn't played well and the defense bailed them out, so I guess it only had to be fair. The defense didn't have their best game. The offense bailed them out. So let's give credit where credit is due to Dak Prescott and the offense. Where's Michael Gallup? 0 catches, 0 yards. Just thought I'd throw it out there. There was times also on the defensive side where Jonathan Hankins was on his back getting ran over. Where's Mozzie Smith? We did see one play where he was literally pancaked on a block. So, again, we don't need this against the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, who is pretty much top 2, top 3 in the league right now. We want to give special credit to Tyler Smith. We think he's playing very well. Again, while other Cowboys fans were not happy with his draft pick last year, we stated that at least on the offensive side, the Dallas Cowboys have drafted very good players going back to 2010. So the history's on our side. The kid has been playing well. Head coach Mike McCarthy. Now, as great of a job that he's doing and calling the plays and having a team where they need to be, reducing some of the stuff from last season, but the penalties are still there. Mike McCarthy, the penalties are still there. The penalties are still there. And ironically, this game was against the 2 most penalized teams in the league, so they just couldn't help themselves. But one thing that irritated us about Mike McCarthy, as the Cowboys are trying to close the game out, they're trying to burn some time. On a 3rd down, you throw a pass, which stopped the clock, which gave San Francisco the opportunity and more time to drive down the field. This is where you outthink yourself. You try to be the smartest guy in the room. And yes, we know an NFL head coach is a very hard thing to do. We're just looking at it from a fan perspective. As a Cowboys fan, as a Cowboys lover, I'm not going to say lover, but as a lover of the Cowboys, so better terminology. It irritated us when Mike McCarthy is calling a pass play without a situation that clearly warranted a running play, something to melt the clock, to make Seattle burn timeouts or give them less time if they got the ball back. So it's those little things, those situation awareness, those little attention to detail is why this team is really on the outskirts of that Super Bowl bubble. So it's those little things you have to call out again. We don't overreact to losses, but we also don't gloss over wins. But again, the Cowboys did what he had to do. Played a team who was in the playoffs last year. The talk was Cowboys hadn't really beaten anybody good. Well, the Seattle Seahawks were 6-5 upon playing the Cowboys. So at the time when they played the Seahawks were a winning football team. But again, now it's the time to prep and get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles, because it does not get any better. If there is one take on this, the Cowboys, they do get to stay home, so they should be well rested and having good breakfasts and good practices. And yes, this is the week they need to be going in full pass, because it's going to be physical against the Eagles. Now, in terms of playoff, the Cowboys are, I don't want to say locked in, because they still have the gauntlet that's coming up on their schedule just yet. So the Cowboys don't want to start celebrating and booking playoff tickets, because they still got to play the Bills, they still got to play the Eagles, they still got to play the Dolphins. So the Cowboys should be mindful of that. But going against the Eagles is to still have a chance of the division as well as the number 1 seed. They have got to beat the Philadelphia Eagles next Sunday night, and as well as the Eagles to lose against the 49ers this coming Sunday, and they have to beat the Eagles next week in order to win the NFC East and to have a potential shot at the number 1 seed. However, the number 1 seed has not worked out for this team, so we're actually okay with them making it to the playoffs as a wild card because it keeps them focused. But until the next time, again, folks, you can always email us at chinchecksportsradio@gmail.com. Once again, our email address is chinchecksportsradio@gmail.com. And until the next time, it's Chincheck Radio, signing out.
Listen.